This is just Bob Bowman, and I'm coming at you with another video. In this video, I am going to be talking about forgiveness. What made me do this video is that a mentor of mine, he had me read this book called I Forgive You by Dwayne Smith. And I finished reading the book. Most of the book I really didn't like because it was a lot of repetitiveness in it. Like, he mentioned the story of Joseph in the Bible more than once, about 6 or 7 times in the book. There was a lot of Bible scriptures in it, and like a lot of the scriptures that were in this book, I've saw and read many times in my life, so it wasn't anything new that I had saw. But it was one thing that stood out to me that really caught my attention, and it really resonated with me with this book. And it's something that I've been struggling with for years, and now I understand why I've been struggling with it. And what it is that I had to come to a realization about myself that I didn't want to come to. And the thing that I had to come into realization about myself is that I don't have the power to forgive people, especially those that really hurt me, that really do me wrong, that have no remorse about it, that think that they're right for doing what it is that they did to me, that brag about hurting me, that made things difficult for me in my life. And I was like, wow, wow, I don't have the power to forgive those people. Even though in the Bible it says that we're supposed to forgive them, but I can't. I can't forgive them. And that's something that I struggle with for so many years. There's been times where I would be like, man, I forgive these people, and I would try to force myself to forgive these people. And whenever a trigger or something happens that remind me of what happened, or if I'm still suffering for the consequences of the situations that happen, like, all those negative emotions come back, and I have a lot of anger and resentment and animosity towards those people. And for many years, I tried to fight this. I struggle with it. But one thing that the book that I just read, it showed me, is that in a lot of cases we don't have the power to forgive people. The only thing that we can do is we can pray, go to the Most High with it, and ask God to allow us to forgive these people, and to have faith that God will put it in our hearts to forgive them, and not just with our words, but with our actions and the way that we actually think and actually interact with individuals, and the way that we interact with people. And one thing that I understand now is that sometimes that's a part of life where you're not able to forgive that person. And the Most High knows that you cannot forgive that person, because He expects you to come to Him with it. And it made me think about the times where I made mistakes, and I did people wrong intentionally and sometimes unintentionally, and they had a hard time forgiving me for it, or they didn't forgive me for it. And there were times where I was like, well, why don't they just forgive me for it? It wasn't a big deal. But it's not up to me to say what is and what isn't a big deal. Even if I apologize to that person, it's still up to that person to forgive me. I can't force that person to forgive me, just like they can't force me to forgive them, and they did me bogus. And it made me think, like, wow, like, I've really been looking at things very wrong for so many years, and I've been taught not correctly, and I understand where it is that I messed up at and what it is that I have to do to fix my thinking pattern on it. That I cannot expect people to forgive me, just like I don't have the power to forgive some people. Some people don't have the power to forgive me because they have been either highly offended or they've been highly hurt by my actions, either as intentional or unintentional. And when I start looking at it in that way, I'm like, wow, like maybe there's some people out there that I need to have grace on. Even if I don't forgive them, still have some type of grace on them. Like the woman that chased me for a whole year that I didn't want to be in a relationship with, but she chased me for a whole year while associates of hers and people that um, we had associations with together, they took her side and they tried to damage my reputation and make me look like such a scumbag to where I wouldn't have a choice but to get with somebody that I wasn't interested in. Going through that, you know, the people that participated in that, people that I thought that I was cool with, that participated in it, that talk bad about me, that spread rumors about me. Understanding that I had even some family members that thought very negatively about me, and that's just the way that it is. Um, these years, I also had to look at the good of it, because these years I had an opportunity to grow and develop into the character that I am currently. Now, am I perfect? No. But through that pain and through that anger, I have been able to carve out some positivity in my life. Without going through that, I would have never gotten back close with my father. And that's just being 100% honest. And so that pain, it kind of helped me with getting that bond that I needed. I was able to get away from certain individuals or certain negative energies. I was able to look at myself honestly and reflect on things in life, and to ask myself what it is that I could change about myself and what it is that I couldn't change about myself. Part of that was me getting to know my father and understanding how much me and him had in common. And so instead of looking at certain personality traits that I have as being a bad thing, I can look at it as that, hey, that's just me, even though to some people they may look at it as being bad or evil, but that's their perception of it. And especially if I'm not trying to be a jerk to anybody, you know, but I know that I've allowed the actions of others to make me get out of pocket, say things that I didn't want to say, even though it was in the back of my head. And then that made me think about, how is it that I think? And I can't control the way that I think sometimes. So now I understand that not only do I not have the power to truly and sincerely forgive certain people, that I don't have the ability to control my thinking at times and some of those negative thoughts that I have. And I have to go to God and ask Him to control those thoughts and have faith that He will give me that power within myself to control those thoughts that I don't want to have. And now I'm like, wow. So if I'm going through this, it's a lot of people going through the same thing. And, a lot of people project their anger and their bitterness on me because they probably see me as an easy target. And it's happened many times. And then I had to think about, have I done that to certain people? And now I'm at this point to where I'm like, wow, like I never really looked at things the way that I really needed to look at it until just understanding just that little piece that was in the book. And so even though the book was redundant to me a lot, just that little bit helped me with character development and then understanding that this journey that I've been on where I felt crushed and I felt defeated and I built myself back up just for it to not even be acknowledged, and then going through more grief recently, having 3 car accidents, having a medical condition, having my heart broken, certain things like that. So going through all that and then understanding that I needed to get to this point of understanding, like, yes, all this negativity has been affecting me. It's been affecting my health. It's been affecting the way that I interact with people. It's been affecting my positivity. It's been affecting my self-esteem. But I'm getting to that point to where I know that I can't keep letting this happen to me because I'm not going to be able to grow as a person, grow as an individual, grow as the man that I'm supposed to be. But at the same time, I know that I still have boundaries, and I still need to keep those boundaries up regardless of what anybody thinks or say. And so, yeah, it's a balancing act, but I understand that I don't have the control or the power to balance things the way that I need to balance them. I have to give it to the Most High and ask the Most High to help me with balancing things. I don't have any control over anything. Just like I can't control being able to forgive people, I can't control my thoughts, I can't control balancing things in my life. I can't control how others perceive me. I can't control if others forgive me. I can't control anything. And I'm understanding that to a higher level, that I honestly cannot control anything. It's up to me to put my faith in the Most High in order for Him to resolve a lot of stuff that's out of my control. Like, it's certain things that I can control, like what I put on, if I take a shower, if I eat. But I'm not talking about on that level. I'm talking about on the level of thoughts in the mind, being able to forgive people, how I perceive others, how others perceive me, if they forgive me, if they value me, if I value them. Like, it's a lot of things that we can't control really. And we have to give it to the Most High. And now that I understand that, I'm not going to be extremely hard on myself too much anymore. Like, I know I'm going to mess up. I know I'm going to make mistakes. But at the same time, I have to give it to the Most High. But at the same time, if I make a mistake, I have to hold myself accountable for it. Just like if somebody hurt me or do me harm, I'm not just going to up and forget about it. Like, I'm going to hold them accountable. But it is what it is. But it's just something that I'm learning, and I'm learning to incorporate that into my thought patterns to help me with becoming a better person. And I hope that me sharing this will help somebody that's also having a hard time with forgiveness, because I know how long it took me to get to this point. And I kept trying to get to this point and failing and failing. But I think after reading that and it clicked in my head what's going on, that I finally understand that. And I know I got other things I need to learn and work on in my life, and I'm going to get to that. I'm going to work on it. I'm going to keep improving on myself. But with that being said, this is just Bob Bowman. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And I'm out.